This might be Samsung's most controversial foldable ever. It's been 4 days of testing out Samsung's most expensive phone ever, the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra. We're also going to be comparing it to its younger, more popular Galaxy Z Fold 8 model. The full video on that is already live on the channel. For the first time, we have an Ultra product from Samsung that doesn't have an S Pen Sport, an Ultra that doesn't have a proper 4x or 5x zoom, an Ultra that seems more like a Plus model with a $2,100 price tag. But can the actual real-life experience justify what specs don't? So let's get right into it. We are on the way to Oxford. This is gonna be a tough test because in addition to general review, we're also pushing the phones to their absolute limits. And right now, they're currently on the maps with full brightness as we are driving with this guy, Lover of Tech. Be sure to check out his channel, and it's gonna be a good one. So yeah, this is going to be a special one because we're taking both Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra and the Z Fold 8 to Oxford, UK. A perfect real day in a life to test out the performance, battery, camera, and much more for both Z Fold 8 Ultra and the standard model. So let's begin with the biggest thing about the foldables that they offer compared to standard phones, which is their form factor. And there's nothing really new here because Samsung already made the big change with last year's foldable model. So this is just continuing what the Fold 7 is, but making certain things a little bit better. 6.5-inch outer and 8-inch inner screen are now a little bit brighter, less reflective, with less visible crease, and it's all noticeable enough when you use this phone in real life compared to previous model. But the main comparison of the Fold 8 Ultra this year is actually to its younger sibling, the Fold 8, because of its unique and more exciting, the more optimized form factor for gaming and content. Of course, I'm talking about the Fold 8. After using both of these two phones, I gotta say I am leaning more towards the Fold 8 because of how everything looks on this phone. I picked up the little things. For example, while the Z Fold 8 is definitely handy to use and it's easier to reach the menus that are on top of the screen, the narrow Z Fold 8 Ultra is definitely better, especially when you're using the menu at the bottom. It's just a subtle difference that I noted. But other than that, the wider form factor pretty much wins in most of the important areas. Like when you're watching media, all the YouTube stuff, like most of the stuff, it's all shot in 16:9. And the way it's shot, it looks more natural on the Fold 8's new aspect ratio. Now you can simply notice the example of this scenery. I've actually physically been to this part of Switzerland, and this just looks way more natural on the Fold 8's display, whereas it's a bit cropped on the Z Fold 8 Ultra. Where you do get the benefit of extra inches on the Z Fold 8 Ultra is when you're doing multitasking or all those UI element usages. But when it comes to watching media or playing games, Fold 8 Wide is going to win, and that's why I personally prefer that form factor over the narrow form factor of the Ultra model. Now, in Samsung's eyes, the thing that defines the Ultra this year has to be the camera, because not only we have an extra telephoto zoom lens, the 3x 10 megapixel zoom lens that they have, we have the 200 megapixel main camera. It is so busy.
Bustling and hustling.
Bustling and hustling. Because we're doing a lot of walking, so I thought let's just get a coffee. He's not a big fan of coffee.
Nah, I'm not a coffee guy.
You're shooting on the back cameras on the foldable phone, and then you can do this and go full ultra wide mode. And while you can see the cover display, it looks insane. Just to let you know, this is not the same main camera as the S26 Ultra. This is a f1.7 aperture sensor, so it's more like equivalent to the S25 Ultra's 200 megapixel sensor. Just for your information, it's not that same sensor. Still, it is a flagship sensor that is better than the Z Fold 8. But what about the actual performance in real life? Well, to test that out, this is why we are here in Oxford. In terms of the general image performance, I gotta say they are both very neck and neck. Like honestly, it's hard to tell the difference. The HDR performance, everything looks very much on point. Whether you're shooting videos with main camera, ultra wide, the difference you're gonna notice is only when you start to zoom. So that does become a little bit apparent that the Fold 8 Ultra has a slightly more natural look to its zoomed videos and photos, but obviously not a major difference because this is not a proper 5x zoom or anything. So at 3x level, you're gonna see a bit of a natural look rather than a processed look of the Fold 8, which by the way does a pretty decent job despite not having a telephoto lens. In my testing, I just don't think that the Fold 8 Ultra zoom is bringing all that improvement or advantage compared to the standard Fold 8. It would have been better to have a proper 5x or 4x high resolution zoom. The place where the Ultra pulls ahead is obviously in the low light scenario, especially during the night. So you can see that it has a better light in the darker scene and also doing a little bit better with the noise compared to the Z Fold 8 model. But if you're going to be shooting videos and photos in most natural places, like, it's gonna be pretty similar on both phones. For the video, Samsung is finally bringing their APV as well as their LUT and log features for the Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra, but we also get this on the standard model as well. Now, since this is a 200 megapixel sensor, you can definitely utilize that resolution when you're shooting in the right conditions, and also utilize this for your selfies as well. You're going to be able to take the sharpest selfies ever on a device. That's the beauty of using the back cameras on a foldable phone for your selfie needs. All in all, while the camera experience is definitely more of a complete experience compared to the Fold 8, like, you do miss out on the telephoto, especially when you're on a day trip in Oxford, when you want to zoom in on certain iconic buildings. It's just that the 3x 10 megapixel lens doesn't add too much of what you're expecting. Now, full day in Oxford of using the camera all the way, videos, photos, all of that was pretty taxing on the battery. Like, my usage was way more intense than Ben's usage, which is why my Fold 8 Ultra were on a lower percentage than Ben's Fold 8. So the day in Oxford has just wrapped up. My phone is at 19%. Is that 19%? Not quite dead.
36% for me.
I did use heavily though.
You pushed it, especially with the camera, you pushed it extra hard.
Let's see if it survives at the end or not.
He says it will survive. I don't think it will by the time we get home, but we'll see.
It's really going to come down to how you're going to utilize these phones in a real day in a life. But overall, battery cell wise, despite not having the biggest batteries compared to the other foldable phones in the competition, these phones are still very much decent to use in a day, and they will be fine for 99% of the users. So we're back home, and it seems like I did the right prediction. Check this out. The Fold 8 Ultra, it is down to 6%. 5% as I predicted, and the Fold 8
16%.
16%. So I stay winning. I stay winning. So yeah, my prediction was right. The Fold 8 Ultra did survive, and it actually ended up giving about 7 hours of screen on time. It's kind of counting the usage before from the earlier days. So if you take that out, it's still 6 hours plus, close to 7 hours, which is actually impressive for a day where the brightness was pushed to the max, cameras and everything was extra used. So taking into that consideration, battery life is actually good on both of these models. Keep in mind that we do have faster charging this time around at 45 watts, so this thing is going to charge about 60%, roughly 60% in 30 minutes, which is great. Now, when it comes to performance and software, we have Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5 running the show along with One UI 9.0 based on Android 17. This is the best UI for a foldable phone in terms of full optimization with all the features and all the third-party apps as well. With Snapdragon 8 Elite Gen 5, this thing is gonna run everything without breaking a sweat. You get the same chip on the standard Fold, so that is pretty much in sync. Performance is top tier. As expected, we get a ton of Galaxy AI features on the Z Fold 8 Ultra, the new addition of the fan cam feature, which is actually pretty unique. Also features like Horizon Lock, the LUTs, as well as the APV codec. All those additions are well appreciated for the Fold 8 Ultra. And regardless of what form factor you choose, you're obviously getting large displays for multitasking. You can open 2 apps or 3 apps. Like, foldables do push me to do split screen multitasking, something I don't generally do on a standard phone display when you want to utilize that extra space. With that being said, overall, no matter how you look at these devices, the biggest bottleneck will be the price. These are very expensive phones, and for most people, these are definitely not affordable. And even if you can afford, you have to decide if you want to buy a standard phone or a good tablet or even a laptop if you really manage your money, or just go for one device like this. And if the answer is yes, then you have the standard Fold 8 Ultra and the Fold 8. And the biggest thing about these phones are their form factor and their ability to fold from a standard phone to a tablet. And that phone to tablet, that is way more natural on the passport size Galaxy Z Fold 8. Like, I honestly wish that that was the Ultra model. Like, Samsung should have made the Fold 8 as the Ultra model and kept the narrow one as the standard model. Even without a zoom lens, considering its real-life performance, I definitely am leaning more towards the standard Fold 8. It's a little bit cheaper. It's still very expensive, but it's definitely more attainable than the Fold 8 Ultra model. It's a fresh form factor that is more optimized. It's kind of the one that I'm taking for the win. But let me know what you think in the comment section below. In my final verdict, I think this Ultra is more like a plus, but would love to hear your thoughts. Hope you got the value that you were looking for. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.